Hi YouTube. Welcome to the Click of Reddit channel. In this video, we'll talk about local reports about the coronavirus from Wuhan residents. This information is taken from Reddit threads. We will be very grateful if you rate this video and subscribe to the channel. Reports from doctors in intensive care. I have a friend in the USA who has friends who are doctors working in the coronavirus intensive care in Wuhan. Here are the facts. 1. The number of reported cases from 20 to 25,000 is the number of people admitted to hospitals. It is not the number of people infected. The number of people infected is at least 10 times higher. 2. It costs $100,000 to save a patient. 3. Treatment involves breathing assistance equipment and antibiotics against respiratory infection. 4. A 12-day stay in hospital is not unusual. 5. Hospitals are currently overwhelmed and are turning people away. 6. It is completely unknown how many people are infected because of people who are not admitted to hospital. Few are ever tested. I have a friend in Wuhan. Her dad is infected. We don't talk much, and she told me she isn't allowed to say much over the phone because they'll know. But her dad is infected and not receiving medical help. Nobody can leave their homes, they have minimal amounts of food. She said, it's much worse than it seems. She also said that they've known about coronavirus since November and that the government just never said anything. She seemed really scared to even be mentioning it. It seems so weird to me. The truth about coronavirus. I am currently in Taiwan, receiving most updated news and alerts about the coronavirus. The accurate death and infection rate in China for the virus is much worse than what is reported in international news. In nearby countries such as Taiwan, videos uploaded by people in China are being forwarded between friends and families. I believe all other countries outside of China are transparently reporting the numbers of infected cases. A Chinese independent journalist Chen Qiushi travels to Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus, posts his findings of daily life and condition in the Wuhan city of 11 million, including hospital scenes and the strenuous process for infected patients to get basic adequate care. Reporting such news in China, where information cannot be leaked without the government's approval, is courageous and admirable. The independent journalist Chen spoke to ordinary citizens with symptoms who suspect that themselves have been infected. They visited 4 or 5 hospitals and still cannot get confirmation that they have contracted the virus. They are told to go home to quarantine themselves. There aren't sufficient test kits, people are being turned away even when they have virus symptoms. Local Chinese citizens are anxious and scared. The numbers of infected cases in the news are confirmed cases who have been reported by the hospital, meaning they have seen a doctor and been tested by the test kit. There are only a few hundred test kits in the hospitals, saved only for severely sick patients with heavy symptoms. Those who have symptoms of the coronavirus, most probably infected, are turned away from the hospital. This is a huge number of people, not counted as infected cases in the statistics. The independent journalist Chen also mentioned in another video that he and his family are getting pressured from the government after the video above has been spread around. My personal opinion is that since he said he has been pressured by the authority, his comments are much milder, less critical, and we aren't presented with the seriousness of the situation as in earlier videos. Those who know how the Chinese government works know that Chen most likely received some kind of personal threat from the authority. The New York Times Southeast Asia Bureau Chief, Hannah Beach, reports that some governments there have either played down the threat of the epidemic or openly expressed worry about offending China, a superpower whose economic power can propel their economies. People who tell the truth are being threatened and punished. I have seen on Reddit comments of those outside of China who have spoken with people whose relatives are infected in China. The relatives of those infected are afraid of portraying what is happening in Wuhan. They are reluctant to tell what is happening over the phone. Ordinary citizens who tell the truth are threatened to shut their mouths in order not to jeopardize their lives and safety. There is a lot of censorship to keep the image of China. As the coronavirus situation worsens, China will have to reveal more of the truth for its international responsibility on contaminating the rest of the world. Simple logic leads one to a conclusion that this is much worse than China lets on. China is continually downplaying the numbers of people infected and how deadly the virus is. We in the West really have no clue. But we do know that China was subtly trying to move heaven and earth to build new hospital to deal with the expected victims of the virus. Why? Wuhan is a city of 11 million people with many hospitals already in place. If it was only a virus with a 3% mortality rate, would that really justify trying to build hospitals in less than 10 days' time? Then consider reports of a crematorium worker complaining that they are having to work 24/7 to deal with the bodies. If the death toll thus far was only 500 people, then in a city the size of Wuhan, which is going to have at least 20 crematoriums, 500 people over the past month is about 17 unexpected deaths a day, which would hardly require crematoriums to operate 24/7. However, if you look at the recently leaked information, which is 150,000 confirmed cases and over 24,000 deaths, you have different picture altogether. 24,000 deaths in a 30-day period would be 800 unexpected deaths each day, and even in a city that might have 20 crematoriums, that would be 40 bodies more than expect per day, which would justify 24/7 operations. Those leaked numbers also mean that you have a mortality rate of about 15%, which is 5 times higher than what they officially have claimed, and which also matches up with the mortality rate of the Spanish flu in the early 1900s that killed millions. Now, if the coronavirus is as nasty as the leaked number indicate, it would explain what we do know about China moving heaven and earth to build hospitals as quickly as possible. But if those numbers are wrong and official numbers from China are true, then they wouldn't support building hospitals as fast as possible. Frankly, it seems most likely that the leaked numbers are true, and this virus is much more deadly and virulent than the officials in China are claiming. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Write your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.